You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on? Welcome all to episode 94 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron alongside Chris Infante and Morgan Burkett. What's going on, guys? How you feeling?
Feeling good. I know Chris said he's a little busy, so I'll be speaking for him today. But yeah, I'm doing well, man.
I'm always busy. Too busy for you guys.
Apparently so.
I got shit to do.
Listen,
Well, I appreciate you making the time, man. Appreciate you making the time.
I try. You know, for the brand, I try to do what I can.
FTB.
How you feeling, man?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I guess. Yeah, that's a good word. I'm fine.
When you say I'm fine 3 times, it means that they are not fine.
No, I'm fine.
So, 4 times.
Some double negatives there, for sure.
So, we're coming off of disastrous preseason game against the Patriots, 35-0 New England. But Jalen Hurts didn't show up due to a stomach illness.
He hit the shits.
Apparently so. I mean, could be lactose intolerant. Somebody gave him cheese, milk, whatever case may be. But we did get to see Devonta Smith show out his beautiful route running, and that was a sight for sore eyes. Like I don't remember the last time we saw a wide receiver come in here and move like that. And
never.
Just, it feels like never, honestly.
I mean, like it's weird. People keep saying like they haven't seen that since T.O. But T.O.
T.O. wasn't a great.
He wasn't a route runner, really. Yeah. He was just T.O.
He was a playmaker.
Like Devonta Smith, and I have a feeling I'm going to be starting to eat crow pretty soon on him because my biggest thing going into the draft was he's the size of my quad. But he's so technical when it comes to his routes, and he's so freaking good at his routes that it does not matter. I forget who said it, but it does not matter your size in the NFL if no one can touch you. And he's not the fastest guy out there, but he's so freaking good with his routes that it doesn't even matter. So he's like T.O. again, like Duck said it down there. T.O. wasn't a route runner. He was just T.O. He was just really fucking good at everything.
Yeah.
But Devonta Smith is going to have to rely himself on getting separation due to those quick routes his quick steps and all that. And he's shown already one game that he can be that guy. It's just he needs someone better than Joe Flacco throwing him the ball.
He needs somebody healthy throwing him the ball.
Someone without the shits.
Apparently so. Did you get to catch the game, Morgan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just like what we've been saying, where he has these really interesting ways of getting open. Like you see kind of just there, obviously he's shifty, but even just deceptive, right? You don't know where he's going. I don't know. It's just fun to watch. But with that in a combination, I like the fact that, I mean, it wasn't crazy at the preseason game, but already we're seeing more complicated routes from the new coaching staff than we saw all season last year. Right? Like how many I called them bang routes. That one where he, would fake the slant and hit the out. I call that a bang route, but we had maybe 3 of them. We don't run those under Doug Peterson, and already in preseason we're running those. We're showcasing his ability. But then he's got that nice little in for the first down as well, and even that is just I don't know. He just creates separation. It's good to see. It's exciting, man. And again, I don't know if they're going to see more of it, but I hope that we can get him someone else throwing the ball at least for one preseason game, because that was dreadful to watch.
Here's my thing. I got into a huge argument with someone about what Ron is saying here. Like
About Rager?
I'm assuming he's talking about the same clip that I got in an argument about. Two different kinds of routes. Like Rager's route was a hitch route, and the corner read it perfectly. And pretty much like on a hitch route, there's not going to be much separation on a hitch route. Like it's just run the center mile steps, hit that ground, turn, and come back to the ball. It's just the corner made a good play. So like Rager was making separation on his slants. On some of his go routes too, he was creating very good separation.
Yeah, he had that out route. That one out route that he just completely left the defender.
Yeah. So like on the routes that need separation, Rager was doing it, and I got in an argument with someone on Twitter a few days ago. Me arguing with people, I don't know. It's just last year Rager was second on a team to freaking Greg Ward out of everybody in yards of separation, and Rager was at 3.3, and Ward was at 3.5. Like who the hell? Like who? Like how? But that's the thing. Greg Ward's thing, last year and always his whole career, since he's not the fastest guy, he's a route runner. Greg Ward is a route runner. He's obviously he's not Devonta Smith, but that's how he would get open. Is because he runs his routes so great. Rager was 3.3 yards. He was in the top 40 in the whole league last year. While that may not sound great, it was, I think, technically the 10th highest because he was tied with a ton of other people. But there was way more than 100 people who qualified for the stat. So he was up there with the bet. He was better than his yard separation last year was better than DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen. But not saying he's better than them, but this whole thing about Rager not being able to create separation, it's a myth. It's an absolute myth.
I think he'll do fine this season. One thing that I think to take away from this game was Nick Sirianni's comparison for Devonta Smith, comparing him to Keenan Allen, which to me is like that feel. If you're an Eagles fan, that should feel phenomenal because we haven't had a comparison to any great wide receiver in God knows how long. Once again, okay, can we let's talk about it for a couple of minutes. Did you guys see the leak trailer? I
didn't see the leak. No.
Okay. So the leak to me was phenomenal, even though it didn't have the CGI, because at the end it showed Doc Ock, it showed Green Goblin, and it showed Electro. Like they all look lost for some weird reason. But the trailer was sick.
The leaked one they actually show.
It was longer, and it actually showed Green Goblin and Electro, and they all seem to be wearing similar outfits, but they were all there. Like Electro was smiling, and Green Goblin had that stupid look, that crazy look, and then Doc Ock had that same thing that he had in the trailer.
I think, I like the trailer a lot. Like it was, and I just realized like everybody's was banging to give me the trailer, but it was shown in WandaVision. I saw this picture a couple of days ago. In WandaVision, Wanda and Vision are staring at a calendar. And like kind of like it was like the anniversary or whatever, and it had.
Fucking. Bro, I gotta catch up. It's been on my list, bro. It's been on my list.
It has a heart on August 23rd, and they're looking at it like they're looking at it like it's their anniversary, and that was the day the trailer came out for Spider-Man. So Marvel's very. Nice little Easter egg there.
Well, I mean, I like the trailer. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know Dr. Strange was gonna be. For those out there that are listening to the recorded version of the podcast, I didn't think Dr. Strange would have such a heavy involvement in the film. I knew he would, have something to do with the multiverse, but like it looks like he's heavily involved in the film. Like
there's been posters. There's been posters made with Doctor Strange on it.
I know he was gonna be in the film, but I didn't think he was gonna be so heavily in it. Like I thought he would make the Tony Stark cameos, the Once in a Blue show up kind of thing.
No, this is it's essentially Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Like,
it's essentially that's what it feels like.
It's not even like because it's setting up the multiverse. Like it's just the multiverse was already set up with Loki, but
which was such a phenomenal show.
Oh, so it was probably Daredevil was my favorite Marvel show.
Oh, Daredevil on Netflix was amazing
until I saw Loki. Loki's my number one. Now.
I think hands down it's definitely the best Marvel show right now.
Loki's my number one show over Daredevil.
But yeah, it's weird that it's getting better without without Robert Downey Jr., without Chris Evans, without Scarlett Joe.
I mean, that's how you're supposed to set up a franchise. You're supposed to keep going. Like, they're not going to live forever. So you got to just set up. There's so many comics in the Marvel universe that you can do this with this franchise. Like, at some point, you're going to have to do the Young Avengers. You're going to have to do Secret Wars. You're going to have to keep going on. And you're going to have to bring back the Fantastic Four. You have so much to go on. At some point, I'm sure, you might have a Chris Evans come back and be Captain America at some point. You may have Robert Downey Jr. make an appearance as Iron Man at some point. But the main focus now with Captain America now being Sam, and all that, you have really good setup. And also in
it's not Jamie Foxx is Electro, is it?
Yeah,
it is still Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
that was another chance because that was the weirdest. That was the weirdest villain I've ever seen in a movie. Like, he didn't get a signature, and then all of a sudden he's out here murdering people.
Well, that's the thing. Like
it's like that. Okay. I had a hard time buying into that.
That's the thing. Like, with the multiverse, with the multiverse, you can bring in all these different people. Like,
but it shows the difference between like Sony, Fox, and then Marvel. Like, Marvel knows how to develop these characters and really use them to their strength. Sony and Fox are just throwing characters to the wall and hoping it sticks.
Yeah, but like they're so meticulous with everything that they do. It's awesome, and I think in the Marvels, I'm sure that people could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe in the Marvels, which is coming out in 2022. I believe.
Is that how you say it? The Marvels? I thought it was the Marvels.
Yeah, it's the Marvels.
Because it's Miss Marvel.
But it's technically Miss Marvel.
Yeah, it's French.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Miss Marvel like the freaking.
So how do you say Carvel?
Bonjour.
Carvel. Carvels.
The Carvels.
But I believe Ironheart is gonna be
shown. Black Panther 2.
And Black Panther 2, yes. Black Panther 2. So you have Ironheart coming out. So
it's all circling back. It's gonna be really good.
For those of you tuning in, we're reacting to the news that Joe Flacco is going to be the new Captain America. So. Yeah, this is still Eagles podcast.
All right, so let's circle back to the Eagles. Let's talk about some football. So today we're gonna do something different. Buying or selling on some of the top training camp headlines, and yeah. So first and foremost, this is kind of a debate that we had amongst ourselves in our Eagles chat today about the starters playing in the final preseason game. Are you guys buying or selling that the Eagles should play their starters? Whoever wants to go first.
You can go, Morgan, with your little mohawk.
Yeah. I just had to fix it quick in the wash. Gotta look at it. I didn't have my hat. I don't know what happened to it. But I think that any other year I'd be selling. I don't think that playing your starters, in preseason, the game before the season starts, like I'm not for it, but. After Jalen Hurts didn't play last game, you really haven't gotten any rhythm on that offense. I want to see it more for the offense than the defense. I think defense probably fine. Keep the starters off. What kind of they can do. But for the offense, man, rhythm was terrible. Couldn't get anything going at all. You need something just to have some confidence going in the season. So I think you keep them in for I don't even know if it's going to be a quarter, but at least a couple of drives just to get some rhythm, just to get something going. Because otherwise you're kind of looking flat going in the season. It's not what you want. So I'm buying for sure.
Okay, what about you, Chris?
I'm selling that shit. Like I'm on eBay right now. Like it's not even to the highest bidder. As soon as someone puts a bid, I'm selling it because it's just like I get you want the rhythm and all this, but for the first time in a really long time, I can't remember when the Eagles have had joint practices with two different teams. Like especially who they're about to play in the preseason. Obviously, that's the thing. Joint practice with the team that you're about to play. But Sirianni put so much emphasis on these joint practices. Like they play it like it's a legit game. So they're playing the ones in practice and they're playing it like a legit game. What's the point of sending out all those starters to play against guys that are about to be cut in a few days? Like you might get freaking these guys that are trying so hard to make the team that they make a mistake and end up injuring one of the other guys. Like it's just I get that there's only like and to talk to this guy for a minute. There's the one less game. Like it's 2017 they went 4-0 obviously. The third game they played their starters, they played the half because that's the third game of the preseason. Then you have a couple weeks of it's different now with only 3 games, but I just think if Sirianni didn't put so much emphasis on these joint practices and all that stuff, I'd say, okay, let them get a rhythm. But what rhythm is there to be had with timing and all this stuff? You're going to get really good timing now against CB4 and CB5, and not against CB1 or CB2. Like it's. I think that they did enough during joint practices. It's only been 1 day. I think they're going to do a lot this week in joint practices. Obviously, we have tomorrow and Thursday to get through and see if they actually need to, and we don't know who the Jets are going to play yet. But as of right now, if the Jets are just going to play the guys that are fighting for roster spots, it should be the same for the Eagles. Like they should be playing the guys that they don't know too much about, outside of the ones that just got shut out 35-0 last week, and see if they need to make a move, because they're going to need to see who can play and who can't play. And people are going to be released to go down to 53-man roster by next Tuesday. And, and then you're going to have to look around the league to see who you're going to claim. I just think taking the opportunities away from these guys it's to risk your own team, who a lot of them are coming off their own injuries from last year. So, like Brandon Brooks, why are you going to play him in a meaningless game?
Mm-hmm.
Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, like all these guys, like why are you playing these guys for no reason?
Yeah,
I agree with. I completely agree with that. I'm gonna go with selling as well, just for the simple fact, and it says it right here. Duck, who's a regular on our podcast chat, all it does, it gives less of a chance on the bubble players. We need to figure out the Eagles' depth right now. We need to figure out who's gonna be behind who's gonna actually make the roster. And if you notice in the past couple of preseason games, the Eagles coaches are not taking this serious at all. But they, like Chris mentioned, they're going hard in these joint practices, and you notice by all the videos we're seeing, by everything we're hearing, when it comes to preseason, they're not doing.
Tackling. They are tackling.
Yeah,
they're the only people not tackling are the ones that are wearing red jerseys. Like, they're still tackling. I
was gonna say they're not game planning. They're not going hard at all in this preseason. They're not really taking it serious. We've seen vanilla defense. We've seen the vanilla offense, yes. But I think what matters most right now is we know who the starters are. Everybody knows, it's not a secret, Jalen Hurts is the franchise quarterback right now. But we got to figure out who's wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. We got to figure out who's going to be, the running backs behind Miles Sanders. You got to figure out who's going to be your offensive line, backups. Like, this all has to be figured out in this preseason finale come Friday. And like Chris mentioned as well, I mean, Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff is going extremely hard in these joint practices for a reason.
I mean, I went first, so I feel like you guys brought up a lot of good points after. But I'd say, like, the one thing that I will say for buying, I mean, you saw it last week. The Patriots played their starters for almost the entire first quarter. And I feel like that really was the time. I feel like there should have been more starter play. I don't know if that's, coaches feeling out what the other teams are going to be doing. I don't know if that's Sirianni himself not wanting to play the guys. I know there's probably a figuring out process with the new 3 games system, but I think just, you make a good point with all these bubble guys, but when it comes to the season, who are these guys going to be, catching the ball from? We need to see if J-Jaw can catch a ball from Jalen Hurts, not from Nick Mullins, right? So it is stuff like that, and I do understand getting hurt. I don't think you play all the starters. Like Brandon Brooks can sit. He can do. You don't need to bring in Lane Johnson. Kelsey can sit. Maybe have the second O-line. I think that's pretty deep. So the guys that are going to be fine. But for Hurts, I'd like to see play. Devonta Smith, maybe a couple snaps, maybe a series. Jalen Reagor, again, we talked about, maybe he's not really in rhythm. Those guys, like that extra game, even if it is, just against backups, the confidence, I think it could be very useful. But you pull them after a couple of series. I'm not saying, play your entire starting line for the first quarter, but I think some of them need to be on the field. Some of them need to have that rhythm. But
then there's a ripple effect there. Like if you don't play your starting offensive line, do you play Jalen Hurts? Like it's just
it's risky.
Like we saw how much of turnstiles they were when it was with Flacco back there. I mean, Flacco wasn't doing himself any favors, but that backup offensive line is not very good right now. So, Jalen Hurts, like that's like we saw it with Sirianni. When Jalen Hurts wasn't playing, he pulled his whole starting offensive line out. So, and we saw what happened. So, if you're saying, all right, guys, you could get another game of rest, but I'm going to let Jalen Hurts run around like they're like a madman. I don't know. If you're going to play Hurts, you should play the starting offensive line But if you're going to sit the offensive line, then just sit Hurts again.
Let's not forget there's 17 games this season. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean that one game is actually it's a lot for them to deal with and to prepare for.
Yeah,
so they have a lot of work ahead of them to get into a rhythm.
Yeah. So and then speaking of J. Jaw, you saw pictures going around today that his new haircut. It's like
is that a haircut or is
it's like up here and all that stuff?
I feel like he's losing his hairline. He just won't give up the curls. It's what it looks like to me.
Those freaking Spaniards. They try too hard.
So, second topic: buying or selling on Quez Watkins pushing for wide receiver 2.
So
that's been a hard topic all over Eagles Twitter lately.
So, I mean, for me, like it's like we know, like there's really one set person on that roster, and it's Devonta Smith. He's wide receiver 1. There's absolutely no argument there. Everyone else really is interchangeable. You could say Quez Watkins is wide receiver 2, sure. You could say Rager. You can say Rager's wide receiver 2. You can say Travis Fulgham has if he had a that's what I stopped. You can say if Fulgham had a good camp, you could say Fulgham has a chance to be wide receiver 2. But I think today was really his first really good day in a long time. But I really think Sirianni has such a plan for these wide receivers that it's really not going to matter who has the wide receiver 2 label because they can all be interchangeable. But if we're going to put that label on, it's Rager. I think Quez Watkins, for what he can do, what he's shown so far, those skills are wide receiver 3. Like that out route that he can do and that screen and he can take it, that's wide receiver 3 stuff. Wide receiver 2, you still need him to act like a wide receiver 1, really, and do a lot of stuff. Like, Rager can do a lot more than Watkins can. It's just that we haven't been able to see it because of the bad QB play last year and some inconsistencies here or there. It's just it's Devonta Smith, Rager, and then Watkins.
Yeah. I think Chris kind of nailed it on the head. I think that again, the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 stuff doesn't matter. Could we see Watkins end up with maybe more yards or similar yards to Rager, or maybe some more targets? Possibly, right? I think you're coming from a Colts offense that loves to target their slot, so he's playing in the slot. Could rack up a lot of yards, could rack up a lot of targets. I don't know if that makes him the wide receiver 3. I think with the game plan and the scheming, you'll still see more stuff geared towards Rager, at least at first. I think at least you give him the chance to show what he's got, right? Like if it so happens that Rager falls off a cliff, which is not what we're expecting, then we start having that conversation. But I think for now, he's still the wide receiver 3. Unfortunately, this means maybe less Greg Ward in the slot, but I think it's going to be, you got wide receiver 1, and then you got 2A, 2B, 2C. So it really isn't going to matter at the end of the day. What I do like is that they seem to be kind of interchangeable, right? They're going in and out. I know they're putting Watkins in the slot more, but I love to see him on the outside as well. So that it's a good problem to have is what I'm saying, is having that 2A, 2B. So, yeah, I'm selling, but I like the development.
I'm going to sell too. I think it's set in stone. Devontae, Jalen is 1-2 punch. I think the rotation is more likely going to be around Quez Watkins and Travis Fulgham, because you're going to have teams that you could game plan Quez Watkins for. You're going to have teams that you could game plan Fulgham for. They both bring 2 different styles of play to the table. You don't really have much after them outside of Greg Ward, honestly. But 1 and 2 to me, it's Devonta Smith, Jalen Rager. Depending on the defense you're facing, you're getting Quez Watkins or Travis Fulgham. Those 2 are the most interchangeable pieces on this in this wide receiver room. Outside of them, like Greg Ward, will spell people out of the slot. Spell Rager out of the slot. I mean, John Hightower, I feel like nobody's heard from him at all this offseason, unless I'm wrong. And then J-Jaw is J-Jaw, which is so sad to say for the poor guy.
I freaking like J-Jaw. I will admit, I think I've admitted it before, but then it sucks that I have to admit it again because I don't remember. I was very excited to see that they drafted him. I was I like DK Metcalf, but my thing coming out of draft was he a one trick pony because he was dropping balls like crazy, and was he a workout freak and just that's it? Because he was very stiff. His agility, his 3-cone drill sucked. Like he showed zero agility. So I'm like, but J. John Stanford showed he's a red zone threat, really good route runner. I'm like, okay, and then no.
The fall from grace is so high.
Yeah, so like, I know he was really used really bad his rookie year, and after that drop at Detroit, they didn't really trust him anymore, and he was learning XYZ and all this other stuff. But he, like, as a professional football player, you just shake that shit off and you just keep going. Like it's and the whole umbrella thing, like it's like
Can that not be a thing no more? Like I don't get why that is a thing. Like, I get it, but you don't know his relationship with his mom. Leave him alone, guys.
He can have alone, bro. He can have an absolutely great relationship with his mother. That's not the point here. The point is that
he could have just been next to her and she could have been shading herself. She's like, "Oh, baby, here you go." Like, leave him alone, man. Come on.
Spoken like someone who gets shaded by his mother's umbrella.
Oh God!
Like your mother definitely still does your laundry, and you're just trying to.
Oh hell no! I'm just finishing laundry right now.
You're just trying to defend J.J. right now. But no, that if you look at that picture, that was him just standing there like, "Mommy, umbrella, please."
Por favor.
Yeah. He doesn't say it like that. The Spaniards have a different dialect over there.
So my neighborhood kids are wreaking havoc in my complex right now. They're annoying the life out of me lately.
That's not your turtle?
That's not my turtle. Somebody's either got hit with a machine gun or there's fireworks going off. But let's focus on something more important. Oh, damn. So we covered that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Buy or sell. I don't want to say Barnett to the Jets, but buy or sell Barnett does not stay an Eagle towards the end of the season. I'm buying that completely. I think they move.
Like wait. Okay, so you're saying up until the trade deadline.
Up until the trade deadline.
At some point he gets traded?
Absolutely. I don't think he gets traded within a week or two.
I'm buying. I think I know he restructured his contract and all that stuff. And,
he actually gave the Eagles a big pay cut.
Well, pay cut, but then like he adds like next year, if they trade him next year, it would be I don't know if they don't sign him to if they trade him this year, there's a big dead cap hit next year, but they don't. Obviously Howie doesn't care about dead cap hits, but if they extend him then trade him, I think that's a different story. But I just think we've seen it too many times already in this offseason, in this preseason. Players going to get hurt, and I think if the Eagles start off not great, or Milton Williams, I cannot wait to pull out all the receipts for Milton Williams. Milton Williams shows that he's a very good edge rusher that I kept saying going at like once he was drafted and even going into the draft that he can play edge. And people are like, no, he's a defensive tackle. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. And we're seeing that he is a really good edge rusher in the preseason. And he makes Derek Barnett expendable. Even with the Jets this week, like they lost Vinny Curry and Carl Lawson. Joe Douglas helped draft Derek Barnett. So it's just
makes all the sense in the world.
All the sense in the world. It's just that do the Jets have anything to give us?
Keelan Cole.
I do not want Denzel Mims. He's going to be too scared to play in Philly.
But Keelan Cole is a perfect veteran receiver to bring in.
I love Keelan Cole. I absolutely love Keelan Cole. I've loved him when he was in Jacksonville, and the person who drafted Keelan Cole now works for the Eagles, and Dave Caldwell. So it's just too perfect. It makes too much sense. I also like LaMarcus Joyner, but they don't really have cornerback depth to trade from. So I don't think a Jets trade happens, but it makes too much sense. But I think there's going to be a lot of teams, and when they see that the Eagles are 2-5, 1-6, 3-4, they'll be calling and be like, move Barnett, get something for him before you lose him, and don't get anything for him until a comp pick in 2023. Get something for him now.
What you think, Morgan?
I
feel like the more that Morgan thinks, the higher the mohawk rises.
Yeah.
He's thinking captain.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I feel like before anytime soon, I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe towards the trade deadline. I guess I'm selling just based on the fact that one, we've seen how important depth is to this team. I don't think that we're gonna be at a position, regardless, unless we really suck. I don't think we're gonna be in a position where we know whether we're a playoff team early on. And what Chris was talking about with Milton Williams and his positionless ability, being able to move inside and out, it does make Derek Barnett expendable, but on the other hand, it also makes him a very valuable asset, a guy that can rush from the inside, a bigger guy, a guy that can be the end and when they go to their 3-4 sets, a guy that might even be able to stand up rush. We don't know. And it seems like they're going to be moving people all around. He's athletic. He's long. He's got a good motor, all stuff that Jonathan Gannon loves. He might not be the guy that we hoped he would be, but he's not a bad player, and he's definitely better than the other options you have behind him, Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. So I just think he's one of those valuable move pieces. I know I missed Milton Williams, but again, I think that that's one of those things, right? Is that Milton Williams brings a different skill set, and that's what this defense is all about: is getting guys on there that have different skill sets, showing what they can do. So maybe again, if the season doesn't go as they want to, they can get some picks for him. But like trading for a veteran wide receiver, I just don't see how that makes you a better team than having him on the team. So I keep him. I keep him for sure. And it looks like they're gonna go heavy on the rotations. They're gonna sub people in and out. So
he hasn't practiced the last 2 days.
Barnett,
he's been out.
That's fair. I mean,
and
been out
as much as I don't like Denzel Mims hasn't been practicing either.
Oh, so Mims is a bum. So let's not talk about
like fucking Mims. Like,
well, I know you were getting text messages before, so you must know something we don't. That's all. So someone's in the group chat going.
They're telling me what to say and what not to say. But no, I know we're all down on Mims and all that stuff, but it's like I didn't like him coming out.
We still don't like him. Don't try to sell him on us.
I don't.
It's not gonna work.
I did not like him even more after he said the Philly stuff. Like come on,
like punk. I want to hear it.
Punk, yeah, like you're gonna say that when when you get drafted by the fucking Jets, like you playing fucking Foreign Park, like East Rutherford, like yeah, like come on, like Newark is right.
Games, but even if you go for a guy like Morgan Moses, a swing tackle, some depth there. We don't know if Diller's going to be on the team or how good he's going to be.
But we have LaRaven Clark back. I mean, he's actually been
Diller got his ass kicked today.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I think offensive line depth, you could look at something there. I mean, I'd love to say take one of the linebackers, but they're hurting there too. Jets are not a good team to trade with in terms of talent. Let's be honest, but
not at all.
But some team would have something.
All right, so
that's what I was saying, but yeah, Liam said no.
He's gonna have a fit, bro.
A lot of us were vouching for.
Oh my god! For those of you that don't know, I actually interviewed 2 years in a row LSU's assistant head coach, Mickey Joseph, and he was very high on Terrace Marshall. Obviously he was obviously that was his player that you're going to expect him to be high on, but when I was speaking to him on the phone, he spoke as glowingly, if not more, of Terrace Marshall than he did Jamar Chase. And I was like, yeah, this guy's going to be good. And look what he's doing. Hey, Liam. Hi.
All right, so here's the big one. Buying or selling Jalen Hurts by the end of this season will be a top 10 quarterback.
So,
ooh,
that doesn't mean I don't like Jalen Hurts.
No, I'm not saying that.
I love Jalen Hurts. It's just that there's too many really good quarterbacks in the league that he would have to have a phenomenal year to be put. Look at it this way. We'll go back to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, after his rookie year, and that NFL top 100, whatever.
Hmm.
I don't even think he was on the list.
No, after his rookie season, he ended up on the list, right?
On the two, no, not after his rookie, not after top 20.
Oh, after 2017.
And then he had that phenomenal year in 2017, even with being hurt. Going in 2018, I think he was like number 3 before. He was the players voted him. The players voted him. So you have to have a year like that to be
33
considered.
touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Like on pace, he was on pace for like 42 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. He was close.
But now we have a running back that can actually run the ball and actually be productive with it.
Yeah, but like so I think Jalen Hurts' ceiling is 3,500 yards, 700 rushing yards, maybe 20 to 25 touchdowns, 10 to 15 interceptions.
Ceiling career-wise, or ceiling this season?
This season.
Which would give him a better season in some regards than Baker Mayfield, which is a very good season. Yeah.
Right.
But where does Mayfield fall in your top 20 list?
But Mayfield right now on that top 100 list voted by the players is apparently a top 10 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that.
Okay, so let's do it like this. And I'll ask you first and I'll ask Morgan. Name your top 9 quarterbacks. We're going to assume Jalen Hurts is number 10 right now. Name your top 9.
All right.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
I really can't
Brady.
say
Rodgers, Brady. Josh Allen.
Are these in order?
No.
Okay.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
You got to move your fingers back. I can't see how many people you guys for.
I gotta look at
Josh Allen.
I said Josh Allen. Yeah. So Josh Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson. He's top 9. Come on now.
This is gonna get really interesting.
I think this year it's probably likely that you have one of Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But
I think so. I was about to say Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I was about to.
Okay, so what's the number? What, if you do say them, what number are you at right now? 7?
I think Matt Stafford is in there. I love Matt Stafford. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Kyler Murray's in there. Okay, if we're doing is he top 10?
I think
is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes.
He is a better.
Okay.
I think there's too many. I think there's too many unknowns, or we need to see more this year from so many teams this year.
You can't say Watson, Doug.
That's why I say it.
Not say Watson
because you have New England, Cam Newton. You're not saying Cam Newton. Then you got the Bills, obviously Josh Allen. You got the Jets. You're not saying anybody in the Jets. You're not saying anybody on the Dolphins. I'm not saying Big Ben.
Mm-mm.
I'm not saying Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson, I guess.
He's borderline.
Joe Burrow, he can be. Ryan Tannehill, maybe. Tyrod Taylor on the Texans.
Okay. Yeah.
Carson Wentz. A healthy Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback.
Absolutely. I
stand
by that statement.
As much as we do not want to like him, a healthy Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback.
Wait, is that a thing? Are we not allowed to like him?
We're supposed to like him this year so he can do really good things and we could get the first round pick. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence.
No, you don't put him on that list. Hell no.
You can't. Denver Broncos, it's either Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater.
Neither.
The Raiders.
I like Teddy to be fair. He could be a surprise.
I like him too, but he's not a top 10 quarterback.
No.
Derek Carr.
No.
Not a top 10.
I think the one guy we're missing that you could arguably put on that list, and this is gonna be a tough one, is Matt Ryan. I think
Matt Ryan's one of those. He can, statistically, yes, but
Matty Ice is nasty when he's on.
Does he have all those yards really because they play from behind a lot?
Okay, so
we're going to find out this year too, right? Because Julio's not in
So you got Mahomes, you got Herbert, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, No.
No.
You got Daniel Jones? No. A healthy Dak Prescott? Yes.
I'm hitting myself even saying Kirk, but Kirk's a good quarterback.
No,
man.
but he's
But is
not
he a
top
top
10
10?
anymore.
He's not top 10. He's not
Okay.
top 10.
All right. So keep on.
So we got Andy Dalton or Justin Fields. You got Jared Goff. You got Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins.
All right. So okay.
Now you got Jameis Winston.
Hell, come
You
on.
got Sam Darnold.
No.
You
Okay.
got
Look.
Brady. You
Pat
got Matt
Mahomes.
Ryan.
You got Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady,
All right,
Aaron
we're going-
Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Right. That's 4.
Josh
A
Allen.
healthy
Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
a healthy Dak Prescott is top 10 quarterback.
Dak Prescott.
A healthy Carson Wentz is
We're saying Carson Wentz, and we're saying Kyler Murray. So if that's your top 9, who's your 10th?
I don't think Carson Wentz is top.
Healthy Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback. I will argue
Your
that
10 would be Jalen Hurts, depending on how he finishes this season, because you can't mention nobody else really, honestly.
Justin
Like Joe Burrow
Herbert
could be there, Justin
Burrow.
Herbert could be there, but we don't know how they're gonna look.
I think the argument is top 15. He can easily be in the top half.
Don't
Easy.
you extend my argument? It's
I think
top
he's-
10 or nothing.
I think he's a
But-
top 32 quarterback.
Wow.
100%. He's definitely But I think one of the issues here is like, how do you measure? Right, you were saying, okay, Baker Mayfield's a top 10 player, but in what stats? You know, like it wins mostly.
All right.
He knows how to win football. So
Let's look at
if
this.
we're talking QBR, sure, he could be a top 10
I hate
quarterback.
that stat more than
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. If we're talking yards, probably not. That's just not the way the offense is going to run.
Mhm.
Are we talking touchdown to
Touchdown.
interception ratio?
Let's look at
Maybe.
that. Is Jalen Hurts a 32 touchdown, 7 interception, 8 interception kind of guy?
No.
If you
Less?
count rushing touchdowns, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be combined in the 30s, like rushing and passing. Interception wise,
So Doug
I
has
think he's a 10 to 15 interception.
has
guy.
mentioned that SB Nation has Hurts behind Wentz at 25.
Because it's true. A healthy Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts.
At 25.
Yeah.
Can you
I
name
don't know
24
about-
quarterbacks that are better than Carson Wentz?
I mean,
I
to
can't
be
believe we're going
fair,
to discuss this.
no, Carson. They have Hurts behind Wentz. Like Hurts is number 25.
All right. So can you name 23 quarterbacks better than Carson Wentz?
No.
No.
We
But-
couldn't even name 9 quarterbacks better than Jalen Hurts.
I mean, everything's probably based on last year. Like last year,
Right.
statistically,
Yeah.
Wentz was the
Yeah, I
worst
get that.
quarterback in the league. So
And I hate the argument too because I hate the injury prone tag, but there's a lot of quarterbacks better than 8 games of Carson Wentz, right? And so if
Mhm.
that's factoring in, I hate that it does, but it does matter. But
Right.
I think for a successful season from Jalen Hurts, I say it right now, the interception number has to be below 10. It has
Absolutely, yeah. I completely agree with that.
It has to, because then it doesn't matter. Like he's not going to be a 35 touchdown guy. I don't.
But the advantage he has is he had a full offseason this year. He actually had an offseason
that's
with
not his
actual
game.
like
And I
work.
don't think that's going to be Sirianni's game plan.
Mm-mm.
I don't think Sirianni's game plan is going to ask for that many passes. Like
No.
I don't think that the plays are going to be predicated on passing the ball into the
But if
end
they're really
zone.
going to be a
that
run
much.
first team, you got to think play action with the speed of Quez Watkins, Jalen Rager, and the
Well,
separation that Devonta Smith could get. Play action is going to be a
You guys saw
nasty.
that. You guys saw
nasty
that red
move.
zone play they ran against the Jets in the joint practice, right? Where they had
Rager,
reaching over and then I think we're gonna score some touchdowns doing stuff like that, right? But scoring touchdowns like that doesn't make you a top 10 quarterback. I'm sorry, even if it is touchdowns, right?
But what about the pass to Quez Watkins? Throwing bombs like that gets you.
100%, but it's one-on-one.
Yeah, but that's like inconsistent. That's every once in a blue moon. That's
I'm talking about the Jets pass, the
I-
one he did today. Okay.
I know. Yeah, I'm
That's
saying
not
like my dog's making an appearance again.
Hey, she feeling better?
Yeah, she's back to herself. As you can see, she's wants her attention back. So actually, shout out to Macy. It's 7 years of adoption anniversary today for her.
Hey, congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
She's dealt with you for 7 years.
7 years she dealt with me.
Wow.
But like, I don't think. All right, Macy. Okay, fuck off. So she.
Happy adoption.
I don't think Sirianni. Like, I think if the offense is run the way it's supposed to be run, there will be opportunities for those big plays like they did to Quez Watkins today.
Okay.
I just think a top 10 quarterback finds that play no matter what. Hurts is the kind of quarterback that needs plays to be set up for.
So is Hurts a system quarterback? You say? Like, is he a Dak Prescott?
I think Hurts is more Dak Prescott than we want to.
I'm fine with that. Honestly, Dak can ball out.
No, Dak's good quarterback.
Yeah, he's not bad.
We just hate him because he's on the wrong team.
Yeah, that's all it is. All right. So next one. Buying or selling, the Eagles secondary will be a strength of this defense this year. Like, every time. Like, what is this?
I'm gonna sell on that one, and not that I'm low on the secondary, but I don't think that it's gonna be good enough to surpass your defensive line. Like, that's your strength. That will always be your strength. That's how this team is built. Unfortunately, we didn't necessarily see the jump. We hope from Zach. Maybe he recuperates a bit, but it's gonna be a trial by fire type of defense. You're gonna see mistakes. And the one squad you have on that defensive group is your defensive line. So that's going to be your strength, 100%. It's not going to be your secondary. Will it be improved secondary? Absolutely. I think it's going to be a much better secondary. There's no question about that. I don't think it's going to be your strength. I'll leave it at that.
I think for the position to be a strength, you need good players at every level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why we say the defensive line, because the defensive line is very deep. The cornerbacks are Darius Slay, Steven Nelson, who's having an up and down camp in his own right,
and Josiah Scott.
And Josiah Scott. So it's like, I mean, like, everybody else hasn't been good. I mean, McPherson's been a rookie. It's been bad. So it's if Slay or Nelson goes down, we're fucked. So
Absolutely.
It's like we can't expect, like we saw as soon as they were up against Pittsburgh, and as soon as that second defense came in, that was it. It was done. So, like, do we expect Darius Slay and Steven Nelson to play 100% of the snaps the whole year? Because as soon as they come out, these quarterbacks are going to be targeting those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to matter how great our defensive line is, and we saw that, we saw that pretty much throughout the whole Jim Schwartz tenure. Our defensive line was so good every year, and people are saying sacks. We want sacks, but we didn't have the corners to lock up the receivers long enough for our guys to get home. Like, these quarterbacks were releasing the ball so quickly because these receivers were getting separation so quickly because our cornerbacks were terrible. Part of that was the corners were playing 15 yards off the ball, but these corners were really bad. So we have corners now in Steven Nelson and Darius Slay, but as soon as they come out, it's done. So I think, for argument's sake, defensive line is number one. I think offensive line is number two, even though our backups to the offensive line aren't great. And very hot take here, I think our linebackers are number three. I think the linebackers are the third best group on the team right now.
Hold that thought. Let's not speak more on that thought. So I'm selling as well. I think Duck actually mentioned it. Not enough depth to be that strong. We still have God, their names escape me. We still have Seymour. We still have Jaquette. We have now Josiah Scott. I feel like they don't have strength behind Slay and Nelson at all whatsoever. And Maddox is as inconsistent as inconsistency can get, unfortunately, which sucks. But I completely agree with you guys. I think, I don't think they're going to be a strength of the team. I think it's going to still be a nagging issue like it's been for the past several seasons. So, yeah. Last one. Buying or selling? Alex Singleton is going to be the top linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles.
For the Eagles? That's a buy.
But
That's
Well, I mean, like he's gonna be.
I mean, I guess
because
because you have
people
Eric
said
Wilson.
that 120 tackles last season was a fluke. Like like the
I'm
kid's
sorry.
not bad.
I'm sorry. You don't get that many tackles in the amount of games that he got him in. The fluke. You don't. The dude has instincts like crazy.
Yeah, I think we're talking about a Pro Bowl snub in Alex Singleton. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna get votes, but I think he's gonna be deserved. He's that important. Yeah, 100%.
I think it's gonna be really hard for him to get to the Pro Bowl. I think that position is very saturated throughout the league, and how many good linebackers there are in the league, and how many they accept. Macy, I'm talking. Like, come on. Like, I know you gotta go take a shit. Hold on.
Welcome to Flippin the Birds.
So I just think like you look in the NFC, you still got the Bobby Wagners, you still got the Fred Warners.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have really good linebackers in the NFC, so it's going to be really hard for Alex Singleton to make the Pro Bowl there. But Eagles wise, you have Eric Wilson, obviously, who's a very good linebacker that came over, but there's really no one else. You got T.J. Edwards, but it's Alex Singleton. Like, and I made up this stat a few months ago in March. Of
you
just
made
how
up
good,
this stat?
Yes. Because in the MLB how they have every at bats per home run, like how many at bats a person has before they hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
I did snaps per
tackles per snaps.
I put
the Russian is
put snaps per tackle. Like how many snaps the player's playing before they make a tackle.
Okay.
And then Singleton in the whole league was second. I think Zach Cunningham was like 5-point-something snaps before he made a tackle. Alex Singleton was 6.2 snaps before he made a tackle, and Darius Leonard was 6.8 snaps before he made a tackle. So he was every few snaps he was in on a play. Mm-hmm. And we saw this throughout his first two preseason games.
He's been showing it, yeah.
He has been everywhere. Almost every highlight on a tackle has Singleton in the picture.
Yeah,
he's just everywhere, and I think he has the makings of a 140 tackle player. It's just that stuff doesn't really move to Pro Bowls really, because you need to be more all around, and he's not good in coverage. He's not good in coverage whatsoever. But he's a guy who's going to be in on every play because he just doesn't stop.
I think. I think we're seeing improvement in coverage, even just awareness wise. Like they're having drop him into zones a bit more. That'll disguise some of the issues in man coverage. I'll even take it a step further. And from what I've heard from interviews and even just talking to the linebackers, like that's going to be the most important position group. I would go as far to say that Alex Singleton might be the most important player on the defense. I think that the defensive production and how well we do might hinge 100% on how well he can rally the troops. I think that he might not be one of the captains, but he's going to be one of the leaders, right? Like it might run through Eric Wilson, but I think it's going to be Singleton. The linebacker crew is going to be so important to this team, and he's the most important one. So we need to see some improvement in coverage, but I think the amount of zone we're going to play is really going to disguise the deficiencies there. And yeah, man, buy high right now. Like that guy's.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. I think he's a couple years away from being that lethal of a linebacker for us if his development continues in the right direction. What we saw last season was he took advantage of an opportunity. We and Chris saw this guy in person when the decision was either him or T.J. Edwards. Obviously, they chose T.J., but we saw a wrestling match out of these two Goliath linebackers just fighting for their job. And now Alex Singleton is more than just fighting for a job at this point. He's fighting for people to see who he is right now, for people to respect his game. So I'm expecting a huge season at him, but I do think he's a few years removed from Pro Bowl talk. But I think he's gonna be a good linebacker for us for years to come. Yes. But yeah, I think we wrap it up at this point. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I'm done with my beer, so
we've actually finished the podcast before Chris finished his beer.
That was 10.5%, so I couldn't drink it that fast.
Is that beer at this point? Like, that's just
Yeah, it's a triple IPA.
Triple. But yeah, guys.
I've had beer that's 16%, 17%.
That's a bit much, bro. I don't think I've ever had that high before.
Was it good?
Maybe have your balls drop a little bit so you can have something like.
You went
We've
straight
been saying that for a while, Brian. It's just.
Come
Wait,
on.
what? Listen, I have a 6.6 right now, and it's this from the party still.
How old is that beer?
From June,
it's almost a month old, like 2 months old. Like
it's 2 months old actually. 2 months old today.
6.6. You gotta let that breathe for a couple months.
It's the last one, so I'll have to restock.
My beer lasts maybe a week.
I take my time when I try not to drink too much. I drink more whiskey than I drink beer, honestly.
I got some good whiskey bottles the last couple of weeks. I got a Whistle Pig. I
love Whistle Pig, bro.
I got a Woodford Reserve. I have that. I got another one over there that was really good. I got a Monkey Shoulder, limited edition Monkey Shoulder.
That's interesting.
I love Monkey Shoulder. Is really good. It's like 20. I think the one that I got, it was more expensive because it was a gift. But Monkey Shoulder usually runs about $20, and it's really good.
All right, it's not bad.
That's like 65 Canadian, so.
Fucking Canadians.
But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this live episode of Flippin the Birds. We'll be back again next week. Again, starting the start of the season, we'll be moving to 2 episodes a week. One live, one pre-recorded. But make sure you guys are subscribing to PSN Radio. That's the only way you guys can catch the audio version of this podcast. Until next week, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante alongside Morgan Burkett, and we're Flipping the Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes,
James.
Go Ward as well.